Hey, welcome back to my channel. You know, I just don't usually like to show my face because I don't think you need to see my face to learn from videos. So I'm skipping my face today. I also make quick videos, which doesn't benefit me because you can't put advertising on them. And I often wonder these videos that have so many hits that aren't really as informative as mine, but they're long and drawn out and fluffy. But my channel's for people that don't have a lot of time and don't like a lot of fluff. So let's get to it. You're going to need a drill and or a good box knife or serrated knife. You could probably use a jigsaw too, but could get a little dangerous if you're not really strong. Basically, you want whatever you can use to make some holes into a container. Now, this is the beauty of this. I'm going to do this video to show you the simple way to get a lot of strawberries in a bucket. You could also save your 5-gallon buckets from whatever project you have and do the same thing, because you could drill so many holes to fit a lot of strawberries in them. Now, you've probably seen or maybe purchased the fancy strawberry planters. Here's one. They're beautiful, they're ceramic, and these actually do produce a lot of strawberries. The trick is you got to really water them a lot in the heat of the summer. You got to keep an eye on them because, of course, if you don't keep them amply watered and have good soil and nutrition in them, you're not going to get really great strawberries. But for the poor man, we'll go back to this. This was a 10-gallon container that a fruit tree came on. I tend to save and hoard my containers because I like to propagate things and reuse them. And all I did was took my drill and kind of followed the design of these strawberry pots. And that was doing a smaller, thinner pot. You would do 3 holes equally spaced across the bottom, and then 3 more holes equally spaced along the top of your container. Because this was wider, much wider than this, I was able to get 4 generous holes at the bottom and the top. Now we're going to go to the front and show you the next part of filling this with your strawberries. Now, just like when you're planting a basket or you're planting in any kind of container, your usual propensity will be to overplant it. But what you want to realize is that you want to put just the right amount of plants in here, because of course they're going to grow and spread out. So if you put too many in these holes and in the top, it's just going to be overplanted, and that's going to affect the size and quality of your strawberries. If you were doing, like a flowers, the same thing. If you put too many flowers in one pot, they're going to compete so much that they're going to burn out really fast. And you're going to have temporarily you're going to be happy with your planting, but in the long run, it's not going to last very long. So try to curb your tendency to put too much when you're doing container gardening, especially with herbs, because they are going to spread out like crazy, like this thyme or this oregano or this mint. So this is a strawberry patch I had in the front yard. I made a hugel garden. Google it, Hugel, I think, hugel garden. But the problem was, because these redwood trees are here, I wasn't expecting that the redwood roots keep infiltrating this garden so severely, no matter how hard I tried to keep digging them out or putting a liner in it, that I had to just plant things in here with shallow roots or things that could compete with the roots of the redwood trees, like these herbs. But because these strawberries, even though I mounded them, have been infiltrated by redwood roots, and it's not quite sunny enough in this spot because we live in the forest, I'm going to remove some of these healthy plants from this garden and transplant them into here. And because I worked so hard at getting my soil good out here, instead of using a potted mix, I'm just going to use the soil I have out here because it's good. So first, you basically want to fill the bottom of your container with a good quality soil and or compost, because that's going to, you know, moisture goes down. And if you have mixed some leaves and some good compost into the bottom of any container, it's going to help with moisture control and holding moisture in those hot summer months, right? Sometimes I'll even put like chunks of cardboard or wood in the bottom of my pots, and that helps a lot with moisture control in the summertime versus just a straight loamy, sandy, or potting mix soil. So what I've done, I filled my dirt at the level of where we're going to be putting our strawberries. Now I'm going to look at my strawberries and see which ones are about ready to bloom or look the healthiest. Aha, see that? We got some little buds on here. Oh, it looks like it might even be forming a strawberry already. So those are the ones that are going to the party. Let's get them up. We want to take the shovel a little deep though. Strawberries are really forgiving. So if you damage the roots, they generally will come back. But I want instant gratification, which means I don't want to damage the roots and them have to grow back. So I'll have strawberries sooner. If you look at this strawberry, it's actually 2 strawberries. So you have a choice. You can separate them, or we could fit this whole wad in one of our holes. And this is where it's going to get tricky because I don't have a tripod and I have one hand. So we're going to take this wad and we're going to go from inside our pot and we're going to feed our strawberries and the leaves to the outside. See that? And then we're just going to push this root mass really gently into the hole to fill that. And there we go. You got your strawberries sticking out already, which is great. And then we're going to follow this same procedure with this hole and this hole. Then fill in more soil and make sure you compress it really well, not overly, but firmly on top of that. Then we're going to add the next layer of our plants to these upper holes. Then we're going to fill the soil to the top, and then we're going to put 3 to 5 strawberry plants in the top. It's a pretty big container, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I would do no more than 4 for this 10-gallon pot, because again, the strawberries, they're going to want a lot of room. They're going to want to spread out and do their thing. Then once you get the top planted, you just compress the soil and give it a good watering, and you have a hillbilly strawberry pot. Now, the cool thing about these also is if you live in shade or intermediate shade, you can move this around. Unlike this, you can move this around to the sun during the day, so your strawberries are getting maximum sun and your maximum sweetness, and they'll do really well instead of being stuck in the shade, you know, stuck in just a place that only get a couple hours of sun a day. And that's it. It's as simple as that. I am not going to finish this entire project because you saw the photograph of what it's supposed to look like from those finished ceramic strawberry pots. So I think it's unnecessary. Fertilization, of course, like you want to fertilize it like anything else you would. I think as a rule of thumb, a good light fertilizer every other week is a good bet. And my favorite fertilizer is a liquid fertilizer, a seaweed fish emulsion fertilizer. Those tend to, in general, make everything happy. And what else? Oh, one more thing. So the strawberries are going to send runners for some weird reason, but it kind of tells me how unhappy these strawberries are up here. They're not sending off runners, but like the house plant, the spider plant, if you're familiar with that, these send off these runners with little strawberries on the ends, and then those dig into the soil, then that sends out another one, and when they're happy, they will just send out hundreds of new strawberries everywhere. So in general, you want to cut that little umbilical cord, you want to cut that runner, because of course that second plant is still feeding off of the plant that it originated from, and it's going to create a situation that you have smaller, less healthy plants and strawberries. So you want all of those plants, once they've established themselves, to be independent of each other and cut those little runners so they can take advantage and be independent, and you'll get nice big strong strawberries. And strawberries in general are full sun, so that's, again, this pot's going to give you the ability to maximize the sun for your strawberries. And they will like moisture, so you don't have to saturate them, but they're gonna want to keep moist, and that's it. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and get growing some strawberries.